So is property investing ever a bad idea? Well, I'm sure you think that I'm going to say, no, it's always a good idea and just buy. And there's parts of that, but actually at times, certain strategies, it's not a good idea at all. So make sure you've got clarity on that before you leave. Okay, let's just get the quick win out of the way. No, there is never a bad time to buy good rental property with the right strategy in the right area and for you to hold that long term. You will always win long term on that sort of property, and that's where the time in the market versus timing the market comes in. And yeah, look, I'm an absolute advocate of that, but there is a couple of anomalies that you need to be aware of. Okay, first off, timing the market. When is that relevant? Well, predominantly it is relevant when you're flipping property. Flipping property, when you're buying a property, renovating that property, and then looking to cash out by selling the property and making a profit. Now, for me, this is a risky strategy. If you're buying and selling relatively cheap houses, doing a relatively small amount of work and trying to create a relatively small amount of profit, just bear with me. £150,000 house, £40,000 renovation, sale price 210, 20 grand profit. That 20 grand profit on a 200 grand house is not a high percentage. So if you're buying towards the top of any market trend, and whilst you're purchasing and renovating the property prices drop 10%, your margin's gone. Now, if you're actually applying a high cost of money to this, maybe a bridging loan, dev finance, angel investment, then you can be a negative equity on this sort of property deal. So if flipping, buying and selling houses with large renovations or medium-sized renovations that can take time, be aware of timing the market. Okay, secondly, there is never a good time to buy a property that is needing the right team, but you've got the wrong one. So let's say you're going into, a 9-bed HMO conversion, but you've got no experience with planning, you don't have the right architects or planning providers on the job, you don't have the right development team. It doesn't matter where the market is. There is never a good time for you to do that because it won't end up well. Maybe you're going to go into we bought a buy-to-let and now you're going to go into convert a pub into 10 apartments. Again, that's probably not the right time to do that if you haven't got the right team. So timing this sort of property deal is not really the point. Making sure that you've got the right team surrounding you before you time any deal like this, that's the critical factor for you in this situation. And then again, number 3, I'm going to give you timing the market comes into really important if you're doing any sort of new build or large conversion project where again, your exit strategy is to sell. So we talked about flips round 1. This is like flips on steroids, right? So you're buying a plot of land, you're developing 20 houses, you're buying an old mill and converting to 40 apartments. If your only exit strategy on this development is to sell those apartments, sell those houses, then you are just flipping. You're flipping on a grand scale. Now, maybe you've got deeper pockets, but maybe you haven't. And so if the market goes against you, on this sort of strategy, that can be a really troubling time. And let's face it, when you're developing 40 apartments, 20 houses, the time scale of this flip is really exaggerated. So you could be in the dev stage, you could be in purchase, development and sales for 3 years here. The market can shift in 3 years. So what I would always say here is make sure that you're doing the right strategy at the right time in your career. If you're developing, you should have the money behind you to make sure that you can withstand any shifts in the market. Okay, look, well, there's 3 ways there where property can not be a good idea for you. But I want you to rest assured that, remember where I started. I am a huge advocate of there is never a bad time to buy long-term rental stock in the right way with the right team behind you. And if you need support of the right team, then just give us a shout at the MPP group. I'm sure we can help.